those who wish to revisit the lesson again, you can do so. I'm going to most probably upload to the YouTube. Okay, if you can't hear me clearly, okay, please either text in the group chat or you can text inside over here. Both are fine. Okay, I'll try to look at the screen as much as possible. Okay, if not, you can always on your mic and to speak up itself. Okay, so I'm going to use my iPad to share screen now. So I will be sharing. So get ready your worksheet itself. So we're going to start off with 3B first. All right. Okay, so everyone can see my screen. Can I? Okay, good. So a very quick recap on what we have done the last lesson when we are having the lesson in the Com Lab. Okay, I've also uploaded the video on the YouTube. Okay, which I've also put in the link inside the class Padlet. Okay, so the key recap I want to highlight will be over here will be actually okay the fact that this is we just know how to draw the Venn diagram. And if we draw the Venn diagram, we have the few things that we need to think of. First is a rectangle. Okay, and every time we have that, we always write down this. This is a universal set symbol. Okay, and we inside the rectangle, they usually have about 2 to 3 circle or oval. And when we draw the circle, okay, we must label the circle with the name of the set. For example, usually it's alphabet A or B. Okay, so these are the few common things that you need to take note of. Okay, so it's a very quick recap. Okay, so a few things that I want to highlight. Of course, there would be the universal set, the symbol or rather the name of the set itself. Okay, we must label all that. Okay, I also mentioned during the lesson that there are a few scenarios. So the way we can draw the two circles. So one is a disjoint set, totally not together. And this one, the one that overlaps. And of course, the third one will be totally one inside the other. Okay, which is the proper subset, if you can recall. Okay, so these are the few things that I've mentioned. Okay, so next, okay, I've also listed down some of the example and I went through the example over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the homework questions over here. Okay, so let me just do that. Okay, so I'm going to just take down this portion. I'm going to go through a few questions. A few questions are quite straightforward, so I'm going to spend just a few minutes to go through that. Okay, so question one. Okay, maybe I'll just zoom in a bit more, bring it up. Okay, so question one. Okay, so we are given with this question, the universal set, and we have set A and set B. So we are supposed to draw a Venn diagram. So this is a very level 1 question. That means it's one of the easier one. Okay, so so how do we do this type of question? Okay, so first of all, okay, we must understand part A. Okay, which type of diagram does it belongs to? Is it belongs to the two circle is all separated, or there's something in common, or is a subset of one another? So we have to decide, is it scenario 1, scenario 2, or scenario 3? Anyone can tell me which scenario does it belongs to for this question? So we have set A 179, 7911. You can type in the group chat in the chat function. You just type it inside. So which one do you think, which scenario? Is it scenario 1, scenario 2, or scenario 3? Okay, scenario 2. Okay, Auntie. Okay, 2. All right. Okay, just good. Thank you. Okay, for those Jesslyn, Kushari, and Auntie, and okay, Auni. Okay, so those who replied, good, you got it correct. So for those who are considering or not too sure, so why is it scenario 2? Because if you look at this, okay, set over here, we have something over here that's in common. So if you look through very quick one, 7 is in common, 9 is common. So once they have something in common, okay, we will be using scenario 2, okay, where there's overlap. Okay, so it's quite straightforward. I'm going to go through very quickly because this one is considered the easier one. So what we need to do is, as usual, I mentioned, draw a Venn diagram with a E universal set symbol. Then after that, we draw two circle or oval shape, big enough such that we can put in all the number. Okay, and set A, set B, we have to label. Then after which, let me just make the smallest. Okay, then we will write down the common number 7 and 9. There's a common one. And A with additional number 1 there, and B has 11 as an additional number. Okay, anything else that we need to put in? Yes, no? I'm looking at your, you can shake your head or nod your head. Okay. Is that all that we need to put in? Okay, I need to extend a bit because I think there are more things that we're supposed to put in. Okay, so this one we just put in the set A and set B, right? So these are the numbers 1, 7, 9, 11. So, but we need to compare to the universal set. Okay, so I want to highlight this. The universal set is over here. So it's supposed to be, all the numbers must be inside this rectangle. So let's take a look. We have 1 already put in. We have 7 already put in. We have 9 already put in. We have 11 already put in. So technically, we still have another 2 numbers. So it's 3 and a 5. So remember, this is how we check. Okay, very important. So it is how we check whether we have put in all the numbers that's inside the universal set. So one way to check is count the numbers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 numbers. So we should have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so this is how we confirm and check. Okay, these are the numbers and all are placed inside. Okay. Okay, so this is question A, answer done. So part B. So is A a proper subset or is A a subset of B? So if you look at the diagram, it's no lah. Okay, subset must be totally inside. Okay, so in this particular case, it's not correct. Okay, because if you look at the diagram, okay, they share some common elements, but their sub-elements are not the same. So they are not, A is not a subset of B. Okay, so that's question number 1. Okay, so I'm going to shift to the next question. Okay, right, let me just, okay, right. Okay, okay, right. Okay, so I'm going to erase this portion before I go on to the next part itself. Okay, so let me erase this so that we can move on. Okay, question 2. Shift this a bit. Okay, question 2, we have this diamond. Okay, we have this all these things itself. Okay. So we have diamond, gold, jade, platinum, ruby, and silver. Okay, set A is gold and silver. So this question number 2. Okay, if you can remember A with the power of a comma there, this is what we call the complement. Okay, so what is a complement? Okay, right. So what is a complement? This complement is actually anything that's outside of A. Okay, so hi honey, this is worksheet 3B. Okay, the homework part, the one that's behind. So we are going through second question. Okay, so maybe you can prepare this the worksheet. So we are going through question 2. Okay, so how do we get the A complement? So let's take a look. So universal set is actually this over here. So we have how many? These are the elements we have: gold, diamond, jade, platinum, ruby, and silver. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6. And set A, we have these two, gold and silver. So gold, silver is here, gold is here. So these two is inside A. So all A complement, quite straightforward. A complement will be anything that's not inside A, that means it's diamond, jade, platinum, and ruby. Okay, so that will be A complement. Okay. So now then for part B, we are supposed to represent this in the Venn diagram. So all we need to do is, okay, in this particular diagram, there's only one circle. We do not draw a second circle here. The common mistake is people will draw another circle. So set A is this. So A, inside A, there's a gold and there's a silver. Okay, so the remaining part, okay, A complement, we'll just write all these elements over here outside of the circle. So we just list down the diamond, jade, platinum, and ruby. Okay, and we can just label this as A complement over here. Okay, so we do not need to draw additional circle over there. Right, so far, okay, this part. Okay, so that's how we draw for question 2. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to shift this up a bit. Okay. Let me erase this portion first. Okay, so this is still quite straightforward, nothing too hard for question 1 and 2. Just need to take note of certain things. Okay, now we're going to go on to question number 3. Okay, question number 3 is slightly more work to do, but it's still doable. As in, I would say that this 1.5 level or even just level 2 maximum. Okay, so question 3, I'll just write it down here. Okay, question 3. So we have a universal set. If you look at the question, X is a whole number. So whole number starts with, anyone can recall? Does it start from 1 or start from 0? You can type in the chat yourself. It starts from 1 or starts from 0? Whole number. Okay, good try. We have 1, we have 0. So we have 2 different answers so far. More of the 1 itself. Anyone else? 1, okay, sub pointing, trading, okay, put in 1. Okay, never mind, don't worry, good try. Only one of you got it correct. It's actually 0, whole number, remember whole. Whole number, whole is 0. Okay, so the shape of 0. Natural number, so maybe I will recap again. Natural number then starts from 1. Why is that so natural? It's like long time ago, people start counting when there's something that 1 cow, 2 cows, 3 horse, 4 horse, so on and so forth. Natural number, so starts from 1. Whole number, the whole itself, okay, it's like a 0 whole number. Okay, so it starts from 0. Okay, so don't worry if you can't recall that. It takes some time. Okay, so with more practice, you will remember that. Okay, so whole number starts from 0. So therefore, this particular question is 0, 1, 2, on and on. So there's no upper limit. So we will just put ... as indication as it goes on and on. Okay. So next part, A. Dimension A is a odd integer and B is a multiple of 4. So let's list down because part A question we are supposed to list down. So A is odd number. It's quite straightforward. So it starts from 1, 3, 5, on and on. So this one would be continuing. Where B multiple of 4. So it will be 4 times table. So 4, 8, 12, so on and so forth. All right. So this is part A question. So we have this universal set, set A, set B. So these 3 are the answers. All right. Okay, so part B. Okay, we are supposed to express A complement. So there are two ways that they want us to list down. Okay, so first up will be B. we are supposed to list down the elements of A complement. Okay, so A is 135. So A complement, if you look at this A, basically it's odd number, right? So A complement, simply put, will be all the even number plus a 0. This one is going to be a common mistake that people miss out. So you must include the 0 because the universal set, there's a 0 there. Okay, I want to just indicate over here. 0 must put in. Then followed by 2, 4, 6, then on and on. All right. Okay, so that's A complement. Okay, so, and we are supposed to use a set notation. Okay, so how do we use the set notation? So we just bring it out a bit. So A complement equals to set notation, if you can recall, is basically we are supposed to use the description a bit. That means use algebra X. So A complement is X, where X is an even integer which includes 0. Okay, so this is for A complement. For the second answer, because they asked us to use by listing and using the set notation. So this is part 1. This is part 2. Right? Okay, so why do I need to indicate specifically over here that it's an even integer and includes 0? Because if you recall that integer doesn't include a 0. Okay, integer, take note, integer does not include 0. Okay, so therefore I need to specifically mention that because our set includes a 0. Okay, right. And last but not least, for part C, we are supposed to draw a Venn diagram. Okay, so once again, the Venn diagram, looking at set A, set B, and the universal set. Okay, so let's do a quick check-in. So scenario 1, scenario 2, or scenario 3. So which type? So is it disjoint, or is it common, or is it a subset? Which one is that? So can you help to key in your response in the group chat? So is it scenario 1? Because we are now going to draw the Venn diagram for this particular set itself. So list down whether this are we going to draw a disjoint set? Both are not nothing in common at all, or are we drawing number 2 has there's something in common, or number 3 is a proper subset? You can type in the group chat. No one responding yet. Anyone? If they haven't responded, because I don't see anything here. Is it some error? Oh, okay. I just saw one, scenario 1. Okay, good. Okay, most of you, those who responded, the answer is correct. It's scenario 1. Okay, why is that so? Because you can see that if you can take a look at the B itself, they are all the even numbers. 4, 8, 12 is a multiple of 4. They are even numbers. Whereas A is a odd number. So therefore, okay, not able to, there's nothing in common between the two. Okay, so if I would write down the answer, okay, the set looks like this. Disjoint set. So I draw a universal set, draw an A, draw a B. So nothing in common. So the tricky part over here is, so there's unlimited numbers over here. So how do we draw it? So we can just draw it this way. So we can just list down 1, 3, 5, 7, and just list down a few. then after that, dot, 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 then 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, dot, dot, dot. And whereas the other numbers that's not inside A and B will be 0, 2, 6, 10, dot, 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 dot. Okay, so these are the few numbers that's not inside. Okay, because multiple of 4 doesn't cover everything, so there are some numbers that's missing, right? So that's for question number 3C. Any question? Okay, so no question. Okay, so we are going to go to the next question itself. I will just overlap with another question. Let me shift this down first. Right. Alphabetical open right. Okay. Okay, I'm going to erase this part. So just make sure that you have finished copying this. So just if you have not finished copying, don't worry, you can refer to the video later. All right. Okay, so I'm going to shift this down so that I can see the question below. Shall we shift this away? Okay, right, finally. Okay, so question number 4. Over here, question 4, we are looking at these letters in the word complement. Okay, so this question number 4, things that you need to take note of is every element is unique, so make sure that you don't repeat any letters that's inside. So if you are careful enough, then this should be quite okay. So the word complement, so we have a first letter C, followed by O, followed by M, followed by P, followed by L, followed by E. And the next letter M is repeated, so we don't include inside. And the next letter E is repeated as well, so the next one will be N and the T. Okay, so the universal set will be just that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So set A will be letters in the word element. So if we were to look at the word element, so E is the first one, followed by L. E is repeated, so we don't put in. So M. E is repeated again, so we don't put in. So N and the T. Okay, so these are the few elements over here. So this is part A. So part B, A complement. So we can, so how do we find A complement? So we have to do a comparison. So E is over here, so it's taken out. L is taken out. M here, and over here, and a T. So if you take a look at the original universal set, so the alphabet or the letter that's left over will be C, O, and a P. Okay, so that would be the answer. So I will use a green pen. So this letter C, O, P. So that's left behind. Right. Okay, so that's for part B. Okay, moving on. So part C question will be, we are supposed to represent once again. So this is something that is, we have done it before. So I'm going to do a quick one. Just draw a rectangle. So there's only one circle in this particular question because there's only one set. So just list down all the alphabet inside. ELMT. And the A complement, we will not draw a circle, but we just list down the alphabet. That will be as our A complement itself. Right? Okay, so that will be for this question 4. And last question. Question 5. Okay, question 5, slightly different question than the other two, the few questions that we've done. So we are supposed to come up with a universal set. Okay, so for A, part A question, so universal set means the set that must consist of all the elements that's given in A and B. So if we look at A, is 1, 3, and 8, and B is 3, 6, and 8. So the smallest universal set that we can have must consist all these elements that is given. We can have more, but cannot have less. So we must have a 1, we must have a 3, we must have a 6, we must have an 8. So these 4 elements must be inside. Okay, so this is one possible universal set. All right. Okay, so part B. We are supposed to create a set alphabet C, such that C is a proper subset of A and C is proper subset of B. Okay, so C is a proper subset of A, C is proper subset of B. Okay, so meaning to say that if you draw a diagram, right? If you draw a diagram, A is here, B is here. Okay, so C is actually over here. Okay, this one. Okay, thanks, Kushai. Okay, right. Hi, Nakib. I hope you can hear me. Okay, we are going through the worksheet 3B and our last question of worksheet 3B is question number 5. Okay, so those part that you missed out earlier, you can refer to the video. Later I'll share in the class group chat, right? Okay, so we are going through question 5 now. So I'm just mentioning this part. So what do we mean by C is a proper subset of A and C is also a proper subset of B? So C must be both proper subset of both A and B. So individually, if I were to draw individual A, then that means C must be inside the A. Whatever C has, A must have. And at the same time, individually, if I were to draw individually, if we have a B, C must be also inside the B. So that's what they're trying to say. Okay, and in this case, and they must satisfy both. C must be smaller than B, and both C must be smaller than A. B and A, that means C must be inside here then. Okay, the common number that both A and B has. So if you look at the common number, so the common number A and B has is of course 3 and 8. 3 and 8. So if we were to do it this way, so C in this case, then C must be equals to 3 and 8 then. So if you compare, C is 3 and 8 and A is 1, 3 and 8. So if you compare, yes, so this is C is a subset of A. So if we compare again, C is 3 and 8. It's also a subset of B, which is also coming from 3, 6, and 8. So if we have 3, 8, this has 3 and 8, so it's still a proper subset. So these two satisfied, so hence C can be this. But to take note, C can have other values as well. C can be also just a 3. Or so we have different answer, possible answer. C can also just be an 8. Because if C is a 3 over here, so we can do a comparison. C is also a proper subset of 1, 3, and 8. If we are using an 8, so this is also a proper subset of 3, 6, and 8. So both all these three numbers. So if I go to highlight once again. So there are three possible answers. First answer is 38. Second answer is just 3 itself. Third answer is just the 8 itself. So all these are okay. Possible answer. All right. Okay, so I will choose the first one as my answer. So if I choose the first one as my answer, so part C, we are supposed to draw the Venn diagram. So all we need to do is we draw this scenario. So the common number they have is 3 and 8. And this is actually our C. This is our A. This is our B. Someone left. Okay. All right. So the answer, this one is 1 and this one is 6 over here. Okay, so this will be our Venn diagram, how it looks like. So this particular so-called the circle is actually our C. All right. Okay. So for those who didn't manage to do it, I hope that it clarifies for those who can't do certain questions. Okay, so please do the homework questions at the back on your own time. Every time I give you the worksheet, right? Anytime you just got the time, you just try it. Okay, so now with this, we're going to continue and start our next part of the worksheet, which is our 3C worksheet. Okay, a bit more into the Venn diagram and there are a few other symbols that I'm going to share with you. Okay, for those who did manage to copy down everything, don't worry, just refer to the video. Okay, so we will move on from here so that we can end on time. Okay, right. If you do have any question, you can post as once again, I want to repeat myself, you can post in the group chat in the Zoom or in our math group chat itself. Okay, so now we are moving on to the next part, which is this worksheet over here to 3C. Okay, so we're going to learn a few symbols over here, which is very important because there's quite usually set language they test this quite a fair bit. So please highlight this part, union. So what does this union stands for? So if I were to use a word to explain this, basically is combine. They are trying to combine the set. Okay, so you can use this word combine. And that's how we use it is, if you look over here, A union B is basically a set. Basically, it's a set, union another set. This is how we use the symbol. We don't use it on elements, all right? So it's a set union combined with another set. Okay, so if you look at the diagram, so it's basically whatever A has combined with whatever B has. So the final answer is both combined. Of course, any overlapping numbers we will just put as one itself, or rather, we don't repeat the same elements. Okay, so I'm going to use the first example to explain. So what do you mean by that? So if you look at this, okay, this first example, so A has 1, 2, 3, 4, B has 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and the universal set is this. So if we use the Venn diagram to draw it out, so 1, 2, the common numbers are 3 and 4. 5, 6, 7 is under B, 8, 1, and 2 is under A. So these are the additional number. So when we want to do A union B, you can see that the numbers will be all this. So basically combine whatever they have and remove all the repeated numbers. So 3 and 4 only appear one time. So this is how we show the working, okay, in terms of the listing, but using the Venn diagram, basically this is the answer when we combine all this. So all these are the answer. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we are showing two ways of showing the answer itself for A union B. Okay, so this is first way of representing. This is the second way of representing. Okay, so we have two ways to represent our union. Okay, so second question, a quick example. So A union B, so these are the two set given, A and B. So A union B, we will write in this way. A union B equals to, with a bracket, A comma E comma U comma V. Then these are the repeated one. So there's only one repeated one. So we just list down the other two, K and the Y. Okay. Okay. Uh, let me know if you can't hear me. Just one of my headphone that's down. Okay, so that's for part A. So for part B, we just need to find the number of elements that's inside A union B. So we just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are a total of 6. So answer is 6. All right. Okay. So this is the first part. How to combine the two elements that's given. Okay, next up, we are supposed to shape. Okay, so first of all, take note. Now it's not A union B only. Now it's A union B complement. So how do we do that? Okay, I'm going to teach you a technique. So we're going to shape in two directions. Okay, so for A, we'll shape in this direction, and B complement will shape in the other direction. Okay, so to indicate, because why is this important later I'll explain, because for the other symbol intersect, we need to use this technique, okay, to find the answer. Okay, so for A complement, for A, this is quite straightforward. So we shape everything that's inside A. So this is this portion. To make things even clearer, I will shape in a different direction with a different color. So where is B complement? B complement is actually anything that's outside B. Okay, you can use your thumb to cover up the B, the circle itself. Okay, and anything that's outside of B, you're going to shape. All right. So far, this part okay? Okay, so we have shaded two direction and B complement and also A. So the final answer will be this. Because we want to combine everything. So basically, all we need to do is, this is the answer. This is the final answer. That's all. So it's basically everything that's shaded over here. So everything that's shaded will be the answer. Okay. So I'll tell you the difference for the next part when we are using intercept. Okay, so this part, okay, let me know if I'm going too fast. So please tell me because I'm not able to see you guys. Okay, so you text me or you can text my group chat or you can on your mic and speak up. Okay, so first up, done. We have done the union. The intercept is slightly complicated, but still should be manageable. Okay, so intercept, of course, I would use a simpler term. This is the common, basically the common elements that they have. It's basically finding the intersection. Okay, so finding the intersection is to find the common elements between the two set itself. So how do we write that? It's A union B, A intercept B. So if you can look in, you can see from the diagram, this is the part. That's the intersection portion. Okay, so we are supposed to find the common elements between the two set itself. All right, so how do you do that? Okay, we're going to use the example to do that first. Okay, so let's go through example 1. Okay, we have a universal set 1 to 9. We have a set A odd number 1, 3, 5, 9, 5, 7, 9. And we have a set B 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But the first question asks us to find A intercept B complement. Okay, so before even we can look at this, we have to know what is B complement. So if you look at the solution, the first step we do is we try to find the B complement. So what is that? So what are the numbers? So if you look at B is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the complement will be anything that's outside of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? So therefore the answer will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So this 4 over here. Okay, I hope you are following this part. By now, you should be able to understand what's a complement. So anything that's outside of B, that's inside the universal set, that will be the B complement. Okay, so B is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and therefore B complement. So within this universal set is just 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we know B complement is this. Now we have to compare with A because we are supposed to find the intercept between this and this. So let's do a comparison. What are the common elements that we have for both B complement and A? So if we're to see that, okay, we have 1 that's in common. We have a 3 in common. Anything else in common? Okay, nothing else. We don't have a 5 in B complement. We don't have a 7. We don't have a 9. Okay, so basically the manual way of writing down will be this way. So I'll list down all the numbers first. So A is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. We try to intercept 1, 2, 3, and 4. So as shown earlier, the common two numbers are 1 and 3. Okay, so the highlight the one common 1 and 3, 1 and 3 over here. So these are the two numbers that are common. So remember, intercept. Okay, intercept is the finding the common elements between the two sets. Okay, so that will be the answer. 1, 3. All right. Okay, moving on. This is the thing that I've mentioned just now, the shading. So we are supposed to shade in 2 different directions for 2 different set itself. So what they are trying to do over here is the step. This is the first way of doing. Just now we have gone through method number 1 using the listing method. Okay, method 1, we can find the common elements. Method 2, which is the one below, is by drawing using the Venn diagram. Okay, so sometimes if they don't indicate which method to use, you can use either one of the method itself. So method 2, how do we do it? So we are supposed to find, remember, we are supposed to find A intercept B complement. So first thing is we're going to shape A. Shape A first. So A is over here. Then next, we're going to shape B complement. Okay, that's indicated over here. So if I were to use another color, so B complement is anything that's outside B. So I will use blue color and another direction. Anything that's outside B. So you cannot go inside the circle. So anything that's outside B is set. So over here, so we want to find the intercept. We want to find the common element. So the common element that we can have is the one that have this. So if can I get you to highlight this portion? The cross shading will be the one that's a final answer. That means the one that crisscross. That will be the final answer. So where is that area? So if I were to shade this over here, this portion over here. This portion is the one that have crisscross. So this is the A intercept B complement. And if you look at the diagram, because I shaded over here, the numbers inside there is 1 and 3. Okay, so therefore that's a common element that they have for both. Is that right? Okay. So below there's just an example of it. You're supposed to just draw the final answer, present your final answer. So because we cannot give the answer in such a messy manner where there's a lot of shading here and there. So what we need to do is we just shade this way for our final answer. In fact, it's too messy, so I'm going to just change it. So just a few strokes will do. Okay, so this should be the final answer. Please do not shade, like start your art lesson and start shading and the whole over itself. Okay, so just a few lines itself will be enough and sufficient. Okay, any question so far? All good? You can on your speaker if you have any question. Okay, if not, we'll move on. The next part is the one that's difficult, question number 2. Okay, in fact, quite difficult. I'm going to explain. Okay, so please pay attention to that part. Okay, next page. Okay, so over here, so this is a level 2 to level 3 question where it's a bit more complicated. The answer, the working over there, just ignore, because if you can understand, good. If not, I will present it with another method itself, which I thought that should be easier. Let me see if I. So let me bring out the post-it. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to present this question over here using a different method. Okay, so first up, this question itself, they mentioned 100 students. There are in total 100 students over here, where assuming that all these 100 students must be either in netball or band or in both. Okay, so they will have no students have no CCA. Every students have a CCA. Okay, so what we need to do is we have to draw in this manner. So there are 8 netball, number of netball is 82. Number of people who are in band is 65. And there are some of them are because if you add these two up, right, it's very clear that we have more than 100 students. So quite clearly that there are some students that's in between, or rather not in between, but having both CCA over here. So what we need to do is we're going to write in this manner. Okay, so this is netball. This is band. This is the universal set. Okay, so how do we solve this is we always let the common, rather the number of students that's taking both netball and band be X. Okay, so this one, so I'll just indicate over here. Let X be the number of students who are in both band and netball CCA. Okay. So this is the first step. So let X be that. Okay. So now the next part of it will be we are supposed to find out, okay, where. So now then, how many of them are just purely in netball? That means I want to find this portion. Just purely in netball. Because just now they mentioned that netball itself is total is 82. So if I want to just purely netball only, so it's 82 minus away X. So if I were to put down here is 82 minus X, this portion. Okay, so I want to highlight that this 82 minus X belongs to this segment, the one in blue. Okay, now I'm going to change another color, try green. Then now I'm going to just find the number of students who are just purely in band. because band is 65, right? But that 65 includes students who are also in netball as well. So we need to minus that X. Okay, so now we have three components. So one is purely netball, which is 82 minus X. X is the one that is both netball and band. And this is green. This is, sorry, let me just highlight this. Let me indicate that this over here. This is only in netball. So it's clearer over here. So over here, the one in green is only in band. Okay, once we have these three components, right? So what we need to do is we just need to combine three of them. How? Because you know that the total must be equals to netball only plus band only plus the with 2 CCA. Correct? So these are the three components. Band netball only, band only, and the one with 2 CCA. So total number is 100. So netball only is 82 minus X, which is over here. Band only is over here, which is 65 minus X. And the one with CCA, of course, is just X. Okay, so if we do the mathematics over here is 100 equals to 147 minus X over here. So if we do the math, will be X will be equal to 47. So this is the question that they're asking. How many students are taking both netball and band? Okay, so this technique is, as mentioned, is about level 3 technique. One of the harder questions you can get for set language itself. So they give some overlapping numbers. Numbers that we can have over here. Give me a sec. Um, yeah, so this is a technique. So let me recap how we do this kind of question. Okay, a level 3 question. So first thing is that we must know that there's always one overlapping. So in this case is X where they are both netball and band. Okay, so let that common elements be X. Then from there, we will actually might find the number of netballers, purely netballers by minusing the X itself. So 82 minus X. And we want to find the students who are just purely in band, 65 minus X. So then we can use these three elements to plus all together will be equals to the total number of students. Okay, so have this impression. Of course, as usual, we don't expect straight away with one example you're able to master and remember this all together. We'll have more questions on this to practice that. Okay, the next time around. Okay, so this is for question 2. Okay, so for question 1, okay, the next question below. So let's try that. Okay, I'm going to give you a bit of time. Just shift this if I can. Okay, I think I will delete this portion. Okay, so as mentioned, I've deleted that portion. If let's say you feel that you have missed out certain things, you can go and read up or rather watch a YouTube video later. Okay, so question one for this part. Okay, we will be breaking down all the numbers first. So we must read E is a set of positive integer less than 20. So positive integer, must remember that it starts from 1 all the way to less than 20 means don't include the 20 itself. Okay, so universal set will be this. Then of course, the next one is P is a multiple of 2. So that will be our first question. So P will be equals to so we start with a 2, 4, 6, so on and so forth, all on until 18, because that's the last even number. Okay. Okay, so that's for part A. Okay, so for part B, we are looking at Q. Q, the question mentioned that it's a factor of 15. So it's quite straightforward. The factor of 15. If you can't remember what is a factor of 15, so basically it's any number that is a two numbers that multiply together give you 15 will be a factor of 15. So 1 times 15, 3 times 5 give you a 15. So these are the factors of 15. So it's 1, 3, 5, and 15. Right. Okay, so part C, set R. So they give us an inequality. So even before we solve this, we will need to solve the inequality. So 3x is less than 20. So x is less than 20 divided by 3. So if try to break down further, what is this number? Is 6 and 2/3. So x must be smaller than 6 and 2/3. So therefore, set R will be anything less than that. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right, so that will be for part C. And part D, of course, okay, we are supposed to use B complement intersect Q. So first thing, before even we do that, we need to find what's B complement. B complement. So we'll look at this B first, P first rather. P is 2, or the even number, multiple of 2. So therefore, A complement will be what? Odd numbers. 1, 3, 5, all the way until 19. Okay, so that will be B complement or P complement. Okay, and Q is just, if I were to list down again, it's 1, 3, 5, and 15. So we want to find the intercept. That means we want to find the common elements. So if we do a quick comparison, so all the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 15 is also inside here because 15 is also an odd number. So all these numbers are common. So we just list down 1, 3, 5, and 15. And this will be the answer. Okay. Right, so this is for question number 1. Okay, anyone have a quick question? All good? Okay, so we'll continue. Okay, so this part is the last part of the worksheet, which I'm gonna leave some time for you to try out the questions at the back. Okay, the homework question. There are quite a number of questions behind. Okay, so I'll go through a few more questions over here. Okay, so question number 2, we're going to list down, okay, the
universal set P and Q. So that's part A question. So we're going to start with that. Universal set that's given that X is a positive integer. So positive integer, once again, starts with a 1, dot, 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 and that's it. We just put as dot, dot, dot because it's never ending. There's no upper limit given. Okay, so P is a multiple of 3. So it's 3, 6, 9, dot, 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 dot. And for Q is multiple of 5. So it's 5, 10, 15. So this will be the 3 sets. Then that's for part A. So for part B, so the U shape means union. Union means combine. Union, you can try to recall using like reunion. Reunion is like everyone gather together, come back together. So union is combine everything. So if you were to list down union, we have to list down all the multiple of 3 and multiple of 5. So 3, we have a 5, we have a 6, we have a 9, we have a 10, so on and so forth. But you can see that this listing now, right, as listed over here, this part itself cannot show any pattern. So this one cannot show any pattern. So in this case, set builder notation can provide a clearer picture of this. So what do you mean by that? So instead of writing this, so the preferred method or preferred listing will be P union Q. We will try to use the set builder notation. So we have to write X dot dot X is either a multiple of 3 or a multiple of 5 bracket. All right. So this will give us a more complete picture when we list down or when we indicate this set itself. So people will know that, oh, so all the numbers of multiple of 3 and all the numbers of multiple of 5 will be inside this set. All right. Okay, so for part C. Part C, we are supposed to find the intersect. P intersect Q. The one that's common. So the thing numbers are in common is actually 15. 30 basically is a common multiple of 3 and 5. So common multiple of 3 and 5 is a multiple of 15, 45, 60, so on and so forth. Okay, so that will be that. Okay. So this is question 2. Now we're going to do question 3. So draw a Venn diagram to represent set A and B in the following case. So A is a proper subset of B. Remember, a proper subset means must be smaller than. So in this case, we draw a circle, another circle that's inside. So A, whatever A has, B must have and has more. So this is how it looks like. Okay. So second question, we are supposed to find A complement intersect B complement. So this one we're going to draw a bit. We're going to draw two circles, A and B, and we're going to shape. Okay, using the technique that we have learned previously. Okay, so let's say A complement, we shape A complement using red in this direction. So I block out the circle and I shape anything that's outside A. So I repeat again, I shape anything that's outside A. Then now I'm going to change another color green. Now I'm going to start shading anything that's outside B because it's B complement and A complement. Okay, anything that's outside B, I shade. outside B, outside B, over here. Okay, outside B. Okay, so now, because we want to find the intersect, remember we want to find things in common. So to find a thing in common, we need to find those that intersect and crisscross one another. Okay, so the final answer for this particular question would be this, the portion that have crossed one another. So if you didn't see very clearly, so these are the area that crisscross. Over here. Okay. So for part D, for this question 3B, the answer would be this. The Venn diagram that represents the A and B. So A complement intersect B complement, and it looks like this. Of course, to make it cleaner and more presentable, we can actually erase those that's inside over here. Okay, those things that's inside, we just erase off. These are all our working. So we don't need to present them, okay, as a final answer. Our final answer will be just this one that's outside. Okay. Right. Okay, and this part of the worksheet also share with show us that all the summary of the different languages we have learned and the notation. Okay, so a quick recap. So element of, not an element of, subset, a proper subset, not a subset, not a proper subset, number of element, universal set. This is a null set or empty set. So this is a null or empty set. This is a complement that's outside A, means complement set of A means anything that's outside A. Union set A and B, that means combine both. Intersect would be the common elements. Okay. Okay, so with that, we are 1 hour 15 minutes into the lesson. So left with 15 minutes. So I would like you to try the next part over here on your own. The next lesson, which is tomorrow, we'll be able to go through that. Okay, so I'll just select a few questions so that you can be more targeted. Okay, so let's try question 1. Okay, question 2. Share the required one. Okay, question 3. I think we'll do the first 5 first. These are all good practice questions. Okay, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So those who are faster and you want to challenge yourself, you can try those questions as well. So tomorrow, if we have the time, we will go through that. Right? Okay, any questions so far? Okay, if not, okay, that's about it that I want to go through today. Okay, so once again, go to the Padlet. I will upload the YouTube link in the Padlet itself. And once it's ready, I will alert you all. Okay, but it will take a while because I think when they need to convert the thing and they need to upload to YouTube, it will take a while. Okay, so by this afternoon, about 3 p.m., 4 p.m., it should be up. Okay, any question? Okay, those who have questions, you can stay behind to check in with me. For those who don't have any question, I will see you tomorrow in school. Right, so with that, thank you all and goodbye.